Mozart started composing at 5 and missed his father's funeral. 1. Mozart began composing at age 5. His first piece was a short andante for piano. His father Leopold recognized his extraordinary talent. By age 6, Mozart was already performing for European royalty. 2. He skipped his father's funeral. Leopold Mozart died in 1787. His son didn't attend the burial. He stayed in Vienna instead. Curiously, he held an elaborate funeral for his pet starling just a week later. 3. Mozart was surprisingly short. He stood at about 5 feet 4 inches. Despite this, Mozart was confident and flamboyant. 4. He had a bizarre sense of humor. Mozart loved potty jokes and crude humor. His letters were full of toilet humor. In one letter to his cousin, he wrote,
"I now wish you good night. In your bed with all your might."
To his sister, he once penned,
"I on your nose, so it runs down your chin."
Mozart even composed a canon called Lick Me in the Arse. 5. Mozart had a shopping addiction. Mozart would splurge on fine waistcoats. He bought expensive wigs. His poor money management left him in frequent debt. He often borrowed money from friends, even at the height of his fame. 6. Mozart spoke 12 languages. He communicated fluently in German, Italian, French, and English. He had varying proficiency in 8 other tongues. These included Latin, Spanish, and Czech. 7. He was a Freemason. Mozart joined the Freemasons in 1784. This secretive organization influenced his work. He wrote music for Masonic ceremonies. 8. He had a perfect pitch. Mozart could identify any note he heard. He could also tell if an instrument was slightly out of tune. He had a photographic memory for music. He once transcribed Allegri's Miserere after hearing it in the Sistine Chapel. The piece was closely guarded by the Vatican. 9. His wife destroyed some of his works. After Mozart's death, his wife Constanza burned some of his manuscripts. She feared they were unfinished or of poor quality. 10. The trumpet was his kryptonite. Mozart mastered multiple instruments, yet he struggled with the trumpet. He had a fear of trumpets as a child. Young Mozart was terrified of trumpet sounds. This fear lasted until he was 21. It might explain why he rarely composed for the instrument. 11. Mozart's music is played in some cheese factories. In Switzerland, some cheesemakers play Mozart's music to their cheese. They believe it improves the flavor. 12. He wrote over 600 compositions in his short life. Mozart wrote in every major genre of his time. Even on his deathbed, he was working on his famous Requiem. 13. His cause of death remains a mystery. Mozart died on December 5, 1791. He was just 35 years old. The true reason for his early demise is still debated. Popular myths about poisoning persist. Theories range from rheumatic fever to kidney failure. 14. Mozart's skull may have been stolen. His grave's exact location is unknown. In 1801, a gravedigger claimed to have dug up Mozart's skull. This skull changed hands many times over the years. Scientists tested it in 2006. The results were inconclusive.